about vibrato a little bit because there are voices I dislike intensely because of the vibrato.
Yeah, so that's
especially in sopranos.
So that's a complicated issue that is complicated by age. The most voice teaching and when you research the voice, it's mostly based around sort of prime age, like college age to maybe about 35, 45, maybe early 50s, like sort of the age of an average opera singer's career. That's where most of the pedagogues have focused their study. So within that framework of like a healthy, well-optimized voice, vibrato is a response to the healthy vocal function of the chords. So it is not something that is produced or that there's a technique around. It's something that comes out when the chords are producing naturally. Now, the thing that's complicated by age is that very, very young singers will tend to have almost no vibrato at all. They have much smaller vocal folds. They have a much more pure tone. Older singers start to lack tension, vocal fold. I don't want to say tension, but like the elasticity, the muscle tone, all that starts to fade as you get older. And that also happens in the vocal folds. So you get this thing that sounds the same as vibrato, and the voice community has not been very good about distinguishing kind of different qualities of the same idea with new words. So we call it vibrato, but in my understanding is that it's not quite the same as what good voice teachers and good singers mean when they say vibrato, because a healthy vibrato, I'm not doing anything to my voice to make that happen. I'm literally doing nothing, and the vibrato comes out on its own. But I can overproduce and do, and I'm using this, and I'm using mostly diaphragm action to make that happen. But you can also do it with the jaw, or with the throat. That's diaphragm vibrato. So each of those I would say needs a different term, but I'm not big enough in the vocal world to come in and give them new vocabulary. So the thing that you don't like in the older, especially the older sopranos, that big wobbly, like could drive a truck through that vibrato, it's not the same thing as like a healthy natural vibrato. So you'll call it the same thing because it's the wobble in the voice, whatever. Like vibrato has just come to mean a voice that wobbles around the pitch a little bit, either in a healthy, beautiful way, like many opera singers will do, or in an unattractive, giant, floppy, wobbly way that an older singer does. But those are distinct things. One is the older one is a result of the lack of vocal fold, muscle tone, more than anything. It's just floppy technique. And the healthy vibrato is what comes out when everything is well produced. So the challenge is you can get rid of that big wobbly vibrato by tightening things up a little bit. And that's what most people end up doing is you'll have, let's say, Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. Like, you know those singers, right? We all know those singers. So what you could do is instead, tighten up the throat a little bit, tighten up the face, tighten up all that, and go, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. And it's better because the wobble is just so bad originally, but now it's a tight, kind of closed off. There's no warmth to the sound. It's very straight tone, it's very dry. So for me, what I've found with my older singers is that it's more of a amount of practice thing than it is a technique thing. It's sort of like riding a bike. You could read a book all day about riding a bike, but you need to actually get on the bike and ride it over and over again until you don't fall down anymore.
Do you ever watch YouTube?
I do. You do a lot, yeah.
Have you ever watched, it's an old one, a video of John Sutherland and Marilyn Horne doing the Flower Song?
I don't think so. I've seen a lot of old Joan Sutherland.
Yes, a duet.
Yeah.
What was it?
I said I've seen a lot of Joan Sutherland, but I don't think I've seen that one.
And I mean, this is old enough where she's still got the big poofy hair. And they're both, I suppose, 60-ish or something. And but wow. Those two voices together.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is you won't see, because you'd think when you hear a lot of older sopranos and you hear that kind of sound, you'd think that it would be just a thing of age. But you hear well-trained professional singers, and they don't have that. And it's because they're staying in shape. They're continuing to sing, and so the muscle tone is still there. Like climbing the stairs. You say like, oh well, I'm struggling to climb the stairs now that I'm 90, and you say, well, it's not that you need to learn a better stair climbing technique. It's that you need more muscle in your legs. So what I would say is it'll come from relaxing some of that. Will help some of your natural vibrato come out more, which is that warmth in the tone. So instead of oh, there's just a relaxing and opening of the throat. But you might find that it gets to that extreme of getting too wobbly just because of age and lack of muscle tone, and oh, it might go to that extreme. So in those times, I don't want to ever encourage you to have a tight voice, but that might just be that amount of vibrato is going to come out when you're completely relaxed because you don't sing that much. And so if you sing for 2 or 3 minutes a day and build, like I was saying with the brushing your teeth thing, you build up that muscle tone through some daily work. And I have a ton of, my exercises are on YouTube. I've got MP3 recordings you can put on your phone, and there's 1,000 out there as well. Just if you look up vocal warm-ups for soprano or vocal warm-ups for contralto or whatever, you'll find some good stuff. And you can pick the ones that you like, and you can jump around and do different things every day. But as long as you're using your voice through your range a little bit more than just the spoken voice, you'll develop enough muscle tone that you can kind of, over time, learn to control that giant big wobble. But in terms of fixing it for other people, like, unless they have some coaching, they're probably not going to fix it. So you just got to learn to turn your ear off and not stand near those people.
No,